Good morning. Hope everyone's doing well on this lovely cold wintry day. Getting ready to maybe, hopefully, explore some happy movement patterns. A bit of information for you. Just want to make sure that anytime you do anything, that you have breath as your primary focus, and that you allow your breath to help you navigate through whatever you need. Even if you don't move and you just breathe through whatever I'm speaking out loud, you're still going to benefit. So, on that note, let's talk about awareness and how we enhance our body's own intelligence and wisdom. So, lots of touch points. When we have a seat with our legs crossed, if this is available. If not, you could always put a throne to elevate your sit bones and have a seat with me. Or you can have your legs out wide in front of you, one leg and folded, whatever feels comfortable for you. So remember, this is not a must. It's just a friendly exploration. So enjoy. I'm going to take my socks off. Otherwise, I'm going to slide all over the floor here because it is carpeted. It's just a little chilly, But anyway, all right, now that I've given you all of those pieces of information, I'm going to go back to folding my legs and sitting nice and tall. I want to think of the crown of the head reaching up towards the sky. And I want to think about my collarbones softening into my back. Does that mean that I want to go into a really rigid military posture? No, because as you can tell, my voice even changed. As I soften my collarbones, you can hear the changes in my voice. It just gets better. So I allow my collarbones and the shoulder blades to kind of feel like they're just armors hanging softly on top of the ribs. And then the arm bone is gently nestled into the collarbone, shoulder blade, ribs, into that lovely nest that it has. So we always want to have freedom of range of motion. So allowing your head and neck to be able to turn around side to side, and then letting your chin drop all the way to the other side, circling it down and around a little semicircle all the way. So all of this is quite essential. We should always have this freedom of a bobble of our head and neck. And let's come downwards towards our ribs. The front ribs should always have a conversation with the back ribs. So how do we broaden our thought about how, especially since the diaphragm starts way back here and wraps around to the front, how can we keep that feeling like, oh, I'm just floating, my ribs are floating, and between the ribs and the pelvis, the abdominal basket where the lovely organs in the abdominal cavity are also buoyant. I'm not just compressed, shrunk into my posture. I have a little bit of pride in my posture. I want to just be floating and be kind to my body. At the same time, honor what's available with my body each moment as we navigate today's class. Yes? Along that note, I'm going to sit with my legs out in front of me. That's where I'm going to start. And remember, at all times, if you need a throne, please grab one. I also have a folding chair. We're going to explore with a few things with the folding chair a little later in class. All right. First bit of everything is breathing and being grateful that I'm healthy. So some of you might know I did have COVID last week and I feel so much better. I'm just so thankful that I can breathe again. If I start coughing, you know why. All right, my legs are a little wider, so they're as wide as the mat. I'm going to start bringing my attention to calm, kind, humble thoughts. On that note, I'm going to take 3 breaths in and out through my nose. I'm going to try to elongate the exhalation section of my breathing. So here's my first breath. That already makes me feel much kinder. From that note, I'm going to let my arms go out in front of you. I'm just going to start with gentle stretching. I'm going to nod my chin and follow my head forward to go into a spine stretch forward that's just very mild. And then rolling my way back to floating over those sit bones. Just simple. I'm going to imagine I have a wall behind me, and I'm peeling off of the wall from my head, the top of the back, middle of the back. The small of the back gets broad because my low belly lifts into the front of that space. And then I come back to floating right over those sit bones. Toes are going up to the sky. Heels are reaching down to the earth. Breathe whatever feels comfortable. Take as many inhales and exhales as necessary. We're just starting with gentle stretching. On this next spine stretch forward, you're just going to allow your hands to just fall onto wherever they may between those legs. If they're forward of your feet, by all means, let that happen. And yes, I have kind of gone into a really deep forward fold, so to speak. From this forward fold, I'm going to take my right hand somewhere between the 2 feet, left hand somewhere behind me, turn and look at my left hand, towards my left hand, towards my left shoulder, and just breathe into that stretch. I'm trying to keep my sit bones even, and I'm trying not to reach my right leg too far forward. But if it slides a little, don't scold it. Just go with your body's asks at this point. Be kind to yourselves. And then carefully come back with the left hand. The left hand goes somewhere between the 2 feet. The right hand goes somewhere behind you as you let your head, neck, and eyes twist and look towards your right shoulder, right hand, wherever your gaze takes you. And remember, keep talking. That'll help you realize your airway is open. It'll give you the bobble of your head and neck that's so necessary to keep the neck space happy. And then we come back to center. One more rotation each side. So I'm going to take my left hand back again as I drag my right hand as far between the 2 feet forward. So I get a deeper right kidney stretch. I know you're thinking, where's my kidney? Way deep, right under the right side of our ribs. There's a little sliver just poking through, way back there. And then we come back forward. And we take the right hand somewhere back behind us, and left hand slides as far forward as our body allows to give the left side of the kidney a little stretch, as long as we all have both sides of our kidneys. Some of us don't. That's okay. And then we come back to center. Drag your hands on top of your shin bones. And then from there, you're just going to elongate your spine. What does that mean? Just allow your heart and your chest to open, head and neck still a bubble, floating. And then from that long spine, you're going to curl your small of your back to roll into that tiny pelvic tilt behind you as you let your legs come back to a little closer toward each other. Arms go out in front of you. And then from there, I'm going to go back to where I just was. I'm going to open the legs, drag my arms forward to help me, let my hands rest, and elongate my spine. Long, long torso, long, broad collarbones and shoulders. Take a breath in. Exhale, drag your hands on top of your shin bones as you pelvic tilt and curl back. Legs come back to a little narrow. Same principle, legs widen as you fold over on top of your thigh bones, and then let your hands land wherever they may to elongate again. 2 more just like this, dragging your hands across your shins, across the top of the kneecaps, across the top of your thigh bones. Wherever they go, drag them all the way down the back of the legs as you elongate. And last one. Excellent. So now on this one, I'm just going to go ahead and let my whole body kind of melt over on top of the thigh bones, still being mindful that I didn't just fall and collapse and shrink onto my upper back. Broad collarbones, and then slowly coming back to sitting tall again. letting the legs come back to being a little bit narrower, hip width apart, or fist distance apart between the inner ankles, between the right inside ankle and the left inside ankle, wherever you're happiest. They don't have to be glued together. Arms go directly over your head this time. And now I'm going to try to keep my picture frame. My head stays between the two biceps. Upper traps are totally uninvited. I'm just keeping my arms up. And then from there, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to breathe in and get a little taller. Exhale, try to maintain that tallness. And then take another inhale to twist a little left. And then exhale, center. I'm going to twist a little right. Exhale, center. The whole time I'm trying to keep both sit bones heavy on the mat. And broad collarbones, head, neck, and eyes go with the picture frame. Last one, both sides. Remember, breath is a tool. Allow it to help you. And then let your arms just fall back down wherever they land. Stay tall one more time. Take a breath in. Exhale, arms out in front of you with the palms facing each other this time. We pelvic tilt, finding that deep sloshing of the abdominal basket into the front of the back so it can just caress the front of the back. From that connection, I'm just going to let the pinky sides of my hands, my lower arms, my upper arms fall, and then float the thumb sides of my arms up. Same principle. I'm just going to let the arm bones fall down to gravity. Exhale, float it up. Inhale, it falls. Exhale, it floats. Last one. Inhale, it falls. Exhale, it floats. As long as you're still doing okay, stick with me. Arms go up towards the sky, out to the sides, and back out in front. Yes, I get to hit the wall. Arms go up, little quarter circles, down around to the side, and back out in front. One more time, just 3 both directions of the circles. And now we go the other way. We take it out to the side, up over our head, and drop it down in front of us. Out to the side, up over our head. Do you still have a bobble in your head and neck? Are you still being present and aware with the kindness in your body? Fold forward on top of your thigh bones. Reach as far forward with your arm bones without the upper traps coming into play. And then coming back to sitting nice and tall. So far, so good. Hopefully you feel great. Arms back out in front of you with the palms turned up this time. Pelvic tilt again. Pause there with that deep pelvic tilt. The left arm goes somewhere out to the side, way back behind you. Your eyes go with your left hand. And then we bring it right back out in front. Same thing. All you need is a breath to do whatever we need to do in this world. Nice, broad, panoramic vision. Last one. Same thing for the right side. So 5 for the left and 5 for the right. I think I'll move a little later. 2 more. And fold forward. Keep reaching, keep reaching, keep reaching. I'm speaking to myself as well, by the way. I really want the curve in the small of my back to open that whole section a little bit broader and wider. Excellent. And then come back to sitting nice and tall. So now along that note, I'm just going to roll all the way down, all the way onto my back. Just a gentle roll down. If a roll down is not in your practice or in your body this morning, just roll your way down however you do. Once you're there, you're just going to allow the right leg to float directly over the right thigh bone, being mindful that the right corner of the bum is reaching for the left corner of the foot, and that your gaze is directly up and slightly forward rather than behind you. So the heaviness at the base of your head meeting the neck is on the mat, and the neck space is broad and soft. Remember, the top test is really helpful. And don't allow that right thigh bone to come too close towards your chest. Then you might feel it more in the top of the thigh bone meeting the pelvis area. And you want that to be a little free. So here we go. We go into leg circles. We take it across the body, down, around, and up. How many? How about 5 each direction? Just so we get a little rotation for the lower section of the body. And then we reverse. Remember, once again, breath is a tool. Use it to your benefit. Don't over exaggerate it. After that 5th one, I'm going to bend that right leg. Give that right thigh bone a gentle little hug towards the right abdominal basket. Just because I love to let that side of the organs get a nice hug and a kiss, so it can rest into the front of the back and the back can open this way. Now, if this is not available, you can always hold behind your thigh bone and just bring it as gently as you can towards your chest. Don't force anything if it's bothering you. Excellent. I have one more breath cycle that I'd like to stay with. And then I'm going to stretch that leg nice and long out in front of me. As you know, I love to chuckle whenever I feel a difference on the right versus left. Now, same principle in love for the left leg. Left leg floats up towards the sky, the left corner of the bum reaching for the right corner of the foot. And then from there, the left thigh bone is directly on top of the hip. If there's a little soft peanut between the thigh bone and where the pelvis meets, keep that connection happy. And then we go across the body, down, around, and up, 5 circles. The large range of motion may be available, but it might make you take the right hip off. So be mindful of how well are you connected. Be kind to yourselves. Thigh bone should be moving freely. Everything else hopefully is not moving as much. And then we give that left thigh bone a gentle hug. The left front of the abdominal basket gets a nice kiss from the thigh bone to the abdominal basket via the front of the back, and then the back gets happy and open. That's my hope anyway. Excellent. So now I'm going to stretch that left leg nice and long out in front of me. Oh, I don't know. I hope I never, ever forget how amazing these bodies are. How resilient we can be. Allow your right leg to bend, right heel in front of right sit bone, left heel in front of left sit bone. We get to invite the pelvis to curl next. So we're just going to allow the tailbone to curl towards our nose without much invitation of the bum, letting the ribs stay heavy down to the earth, collarbone soft and wide to the shoulder, and then you release. Essentially, we're just scooping out the abdominals like an ice cream scoop into the back to broaden everything across the front into the back, and then release. What are my feet doing? They're suction cups. They're staying magnetized to the earth. What are my arms doing? Same. The back of the arms are slightly invited to help me stay broad across the collarbones. What's my head doing? It's heavy on the mat. 2 more of these pelvic tilts. And 1 more. Now I'm ready. I'm just going to float my hips up into my bridging. I let my shin bones rest on my heel bones. The knees are open and forward. The front of my hips have a nice happy opening. I did not allow my ribs to go higher than the pelvis. I'm allowing my ribs to stay heavy. So the breastbone is falling heavy into my backbone. And then I peel my way down. It's an invitation for each vertebra to find a new place on Mother Earth or on the mat, via the mat to the earth. And then release. Same thing, 4 more times. Pause up on an inhale and an exhale. Once you're in your bridge, 3 more times. 2 more times. On this next one, we add on. We're going to go into that same bridge, find the hammock of your spine from your head to tail. The ribs, everything is resting in the hammock of your spine. The collarbones, the shoulder, the neck is happy. The throat is happy. If you have a hint of a smile, your face will get happy. And then from that bridge, you're just going to take the right leg into your chest and the tabletop, put it back down. Left leg into your chest and put it back down. We're going for 8 if that's available. Number is irrelevant. Go with whatever the body chooses. And whatever breath cycle helps. Being mindful that one foot isn't crossing way across, that it's allowing to be in the same lane that it was in a few moments ago. We all have patterns where the right foot loves to go and kiss the left foot, or the left foot loves to go way over to the right side. So just be mindful. How can I let this be just thigh bone movement, even though there's a lot of things working in play? We have one more, I think. I don't know. I don't really count that well. I love doing these. And then rolling back down. I hope that went well for you. I love those. One more time, same bridging sequence. We're going to exhale, curl our tailbone, peel our hips up, pause, stand tall on your right leg, bring the left leg into your chest in the tabletop, stretch that left leg up to the sky, roll that thigh bone forward. Maybe you kiss the earth and then you lift it right back over. So the hip has a little translation. The left side of the hip dips a little as the leg falls. And that's okay. We're talking to both sides of the sacrum to see if we can mobilize a little bit more with both sides of the pelvis. Last 2. I know this is a challenge. Last one. Are you still happy across the shoulders? Adjust the hips if necessary. If you need a break in between, by all means do so. Invite the right leg into your chest. You're standing on all corners of the left foot evenly with the hips lifted. Right leg stretches up to the sky. You roll the thigh bone forward. Long sweep of the legs. Down and up. Just the right leg. I would be levitating if I was doing both legs. That's not possible. Are your ribs still heavy on the mat? So many questions I ask. I know, because I ask myself these questions. Last one. And then bend that leg, put that foot down. Melt your spine down. Breastbone falls into your backbone. Middle of your back. Low back kisses the earth. And then the tail. Ooh, that felt good. All right, right leg nice and long. The left leg nice and long. If you have a roll up in your practice, here's your opportunity for a roll up, or join me with one leg roll up. So I'm going to bring my right leg towards my chest, fold at the right knee, hold behind the right thigh bone, definitely not in the knee space, below the knee space. Let the weight of the right thigh bone roll forward to curl my head, neck, and shoulders, and roll all the way up to sitting. Using the weight of the right thigh bone. And then I'm going to gently roll my way back down. We're only doing 4, so 2 on each side. If you're doing a full roll up, that's where you're going. 4 roll ups. I'm going to stretch that right leg out for a moment and then bring it back and then roll my way back down. Sorry. I needed a little adjustment in my pelvis. So now I'm going to stretch the right leg all the way down on the ground. Already, again, different feeling. Just from 2 repetitions, left leg into your chest. Exhale, the left thigh bone rolls forward to help you curl your head, neck, and shoulders. And then you roll your way, you peel your way off the mat. It's an invitation for the left side of your back to get opened. Pelvic tilt slowly rolling down. Last one. And once you roll down, stretch both legs nice and long out in front of you. Whew, roll over onto one side. I'm going to take a quick water break. So we're all the way down on our side. And I'm on my right side. I'm sorry, I lied. I'm on my left side body. My left arm is nice and long, head and tail having a conversation, ribs soft into my back, low belly lifted into the front of my diaphragm, all the way through the front of the collarbones, into the front of the throat, through the inner ears. Both legs are stacked one on top of each other. Both hips are stacked one on top of each other. So if you take your forearm or your lower arm behind you and level out your pelvis, or use a wall to lie against with your head and tail, that's a beautiful way of knowing that you're along the line of the side. So now from there, flex both feet, bring your legs just slightly out in front of you, like about 10 degrees. Take a breath in. And then exhale. If you need your right hand out in front of you, by all means do so. Glue the legs together and let that air out. So take another inhale. Exhale, gluing the legs together. You're going to float both legs off the ground and lower them back down. Just that part 8 times. And lower. And lower. And lower. And lower. And on this next one, keep it. Now the top thigh bone and leg go away from the bottom. You take it as far away without the thigh bone rotating too far outward. So try to keep that top thigh bone in neutral. We're just abducting it 8 times, 6. I know the bottom leg is off and I'm quivering like a leaf, 7 and 8. We're going to keep that top thigh bone a little higher, and then I'm going to let the bottom thigh bone go kiss the top thigh bone. I know. 3, 4, hang in there with me. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let that bottom leg fall. Top leg falls on the bottom leg. And take a tiny breather. All right, so far so good. Now, if this is comfortable for you and this is where you need to be for the next section, that's A-okay. I'm going to come up onto my forearm. I'm going to line myself up and then not slump into my shoulder. So I invite my underarm and the bottom ribs to float towards the top ribs, which is from my left to the right. I'm going to bend my bottom knee. So my left knee is somewhere perpendicular to the hip socket. And then that right thigh bone is nice and long and leg is nice and long, head, tail in a long connection. Float that right leg off. You can have your right hand on top of the hip to remind you to not roll it backwards and forwards, or you can hold your head in your hand, whatever you feel comfortable with. Just keep reminding your left underarm to help you. Here we go. We're going to kick this leg forward and swing it back. Freedom of the right thigh bone. 2, once again, 8 of these. 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7, 8. Keep it back there. Bicycle pattern. Bend that knee. Drag that right heel to your bum. Drag the knee forward. Reach the leg long. Sweep it back behind you. Just 4 of these each direction of the bicycle pattern. Allow the upper body to absorb whatever motion it does. Don't fight it. And now we bend at the knee. Drag it back behind us. Sweep it forward. Bend, drag, and sweep. Bend, reach somewhere behind you, drag it forward and sweep. Still being mindful that the low belly is lifted. There's 4 for me, both directions. I'm going to let that top leg fall. If available, reach your right hand somewhere to the corner away from the right foot. Use your right hand as a means to give your body a nice right side stretch. Head and neck floating again at all times. As long as you can speak clearly, then you know your airway's open. Reach that right leg off the ground. 8 tiny circles from the top of the thigh bone, both directions. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and reverse. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. How did you do? Great, correct? Last but definitely not least, I'm going to do this in a different way today. So you can be all the way on your forearm here. You can be all the way back down on your side with your knees stacked, your feet kissing each other. But I'm choosing to do a very challenging version of clam. So you have options. So you can stay here and just let the right thigh bone open and fold 15 times. And then after the 15th one, you're going to keep the right thigh bone open, lift the right leg and fold it back 15 times. So we're going to do both of those, but I'm going to choose to do a version that's quite challenging, just so you have that option if you want to. Remember, honor your body's asks. I'm going to come up onto where I'm just on my knees. So I'm in a forearm plank-like situation. And then from there, I'm going to choose to do my clam. So right thigh bone opens and folds. 2, 3. I know I'm very overzealous. I'm still broad across the collarbones. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, keeping the right thigh bone open, lifting the right leg off the bottom, placing it back. Right leg, back. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Whew, lower back down. Holy moly, who is this crazy person here? I'm going to take that right into this mermaid version to open the left side body, because I've been on my left side for such a long time. So my left leg is folded out in front, right leg is back behind me. If this version of mermaid is not available, you can always do this with the legs nice and wide out in front of you. So here we go. All I'm going to do is I'm going to let my left hand lower down right next to the side of the left thigh bone and take the right arm up to go over, starting with the right side. I know, because the right side was working. Coming back up, let my right hand and my forearm hug the front of the ribs so I can take my left arm up and really breathe into the left side body, because that underarm was really helping me to keep the shoulder out of it. I just want to give it love. One more time. Up and over towards the left, broad collarbones, happy head, neck, and shoulder spaces. And then coming back, right forearm and right hand hugs us. Then we take the left arm up to go over. Excellent. All right. Same process for the other side. I'm hoping and praying that I remember everything we did. I should, hopefully. So we're going to start all the way down on our side with our arm extended. Remember, if this is not available, you can always use a pillow to lie on your side with. If I did not say that on the first side, forgive me. Find your length, head and tail talking to each other, front of the ribs soft into your back, hips stacked one on top of each other, legs glued together. Bring your legs out in front of you just a few inches, flexing at your ankles. So the front and the back of the ankles are happy. The inside and the outside of the ankles are equally invited. Once you have all of that connection, you can use your left hand as a prong. Just be mindful to keep the left shoulder happy. Take an inhale, let it go. Your next exhale, low belly lifts halfway through the lift. You lift both legs off and you lower it down. And you lower it down. And you lower it down. Here's 4. And 5. And 6. And 7. And 8. Keep it. Now the top thigh bone and leg go away from the bottom thigh bone and leg, and they come back. Abduction of the leg in the air. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh, I'm shivering. 8. And now keep that top thigh bone. Bottom thigh bone goes and kisses the top thigh bone. Whew, this is a little challenging on this side. 4, stay happy. 5, kind. 6, 7, 8, and then let those legs fall down. Holy moly. All right, so if you chose to do your leg kicks all the way down, that's a-okay. I'm going to choose to do mine on my elbow and my hand connection. I'm working on a little bit more forearm strength in my body. Reminding yourself of the right underarm, helping you. Right ribs are floating up towards the left ribs, finding that long connection from head to tail. Here we go. Left leg reaches nice and long. Taking a lovely inhale, and then exhale, left leg kicks forward and kicks back. Kicks forward and kick back. And 5. And 6. I'm reminding myself of softening the ribs. And 8. Keep it back there. Bend that knee. Drag that foot towards your bum. Reach the knee forward with the leg bent. Reach it forward. Sweep it back behind you. Bend bicycle pattern. 4 bicycle patterns one way. 4 bicycle patterns the other way. Should have moved the chair. Boy, I have all kinds of impedance today, and now I'm going to reverse. I'm getting longer and longer. I'm kicking all kinds of things, and then I'm going to reach that left leg back behind me. Left fingertips reach somewhere away from the left toe tips. And then I'm twisting my collarbones towards the earth, opening my heart and chest, floating my belly button up towards my throat as I float that left leg off the ground. 8 circles. 8, 7, 6, 5 from the top of the thigh bone. 2, 1, and reverse. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then let it fall. Very nice. We're going to revisit our clams. This side's going to be quite challenging for this body. I just want to warn you, I might have to take a deep breather in between. I can't speak anymore. All right, so I'm going to float my hips up into my plank feeling, and then I'm going to do my clams. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, broad across the collarbones. 10, broad across the neck space. 13, 14, 15. Keep it. Leg lifts and lowers. Leg lifts and lowers. Essentially, the thigh bone rolls slightly in to lift the leg. 3, and 4, and 5. Whoo! 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Woo! Holy moly. Mermaid, here we come. Hallelujah, right? Right leg is folded across in front. Left leg is somewhere behind you. Oh, right hand. Remember, you can always have your legs out nice and long in front of you. Right hand lands, right elbow falls, right shoulder's happy. Left arm goes up and over. And then we come back. Left hand and forearm hug your ribs as you go up and over and breathe into the right side. Oh, and thank your underarm, the side body to help you stay broad. Coming back, one more. Ooh. There we go. From here, we're just going to go on our hands and knees since we're almost there anyway. So I'm going to swing my legs around, little wardrobe adjustment. Hands are directly under the shoulders. If you could trace your collarbones all the way out to the side, that's where your thumbs should line up. And if you spread your fingers as broad as you can and use the pads of your fingertips, it will also take the weight off of your wrist. All right? Remember, the thumb side is equally invited as the pinky sides of your hands. Head and neck are floating. If we constantly let our head and neck stay right here close to our chest, we can't speak. That means we can't breathe. So keep the airway open. Shoelaces of your feet are down. We take an inhale. All you're going to do is you're going to exhale to reach the right leg long behind you. The fingertip, the toe tip, the big toe tip is on the ground. Nothing changes. Everything else is still the same. You're going to use your exhale to float that right leg off the ground and let it fall and kiss the earth. Right leg floats off and let it fall. Did your left corner of the bum start to talk to the left armpit? Release it back away towards the right foot. Here's 4, 5, 6, 7. Keep it up there. Flex that foot. Bend at the knee without dropping the knee and release it back away. 2, I know, believe me. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Very nice. Bring that right knee right underneath the hip. Take it into a cat. I feel ridiculously different. Exhale, go into cow, or exhale, inhale to go into cow. Whatever you need. 2 more times. So enlightening how quick the body responds. That was plenty. So now I find my neutral, meaning I'm happy across the front ribs into the back ribs, allowing them to float. The heartstrings are floating into the middle of my upper back, head and neck happy. Left big toe just like a little prong pinprick on the ground. Take a breath in, exhale, float it off the ground. The right corner of the bum reaching for the left foot. To keep the right side body nice and long. Both hands equally invited. It's really tempting to dump it more onto the left side, but try to find a little bit more evenness. I say this because I do all of these things. Here's 7, and here's 8. Keep it there. Bend from the knee and release it back away. Bend from the knee, release it back away. Believe me, I know this is a challenge. I'm shaking like a leaf. 5, 6, and 7, and last one, 8. Ooh, excellent. Bring that knee back. Take a breath in, tuck the toes under, curl the small of your back up, so puffing the low back as you hover the knees off the ground for 5, 4, 3, 2, and release it back down. Let it all go for a cow. Come through neutral, go through your cat, keep the toes tucked as long as that's available. Hover the knees off the ground. 2, 3, 10 seconds. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and lower back down. You get the picture. Release it into cow. Last one, 20 seconds. Low belly lifts into the space of your low back. Hover the knees off. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Are you still breathing? You still smiling? 3, 2, lower back down. Release the toes, sit back towards your heels in child's pose and pull yourself back forward. Just going through the hinge of our knees right now. Playing with the elasticity of our body. How well can we fold? 5 more times. These are all things I've had to do to improve my knee health lately. As some of you know, I'm a big tennis fan. So for my tennis game, I have to have a lot of good wrist strength. So if my right is getting stronger, I want my left to also get stronger. Last one. Excellent. So from there, you're just going to let one leg go nice and long, other leg go nice and long, go all the way down onto your belly. Hands are going to stack one on top of each other, forehead resting on the back of your hands. Now, hopefully you can hear me quite well. I'm going to shrug my shoulders and release, just so I have a little bit of freedom across the top of the arms and the shoulders to remind myself of what it feels like to relax the shoulders broad. And then from there, I'm going to release the shoulders, stay happy. Low belly stays lifted into your breastbone. And then I'm going to float both of those legs off of the ground. Allow the thigh bones to rotate outward, and 20 tiny heel kicks or kisses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then release back down. My legs were barely off the ground and they did try to bend more, but I didn't allow it. So keep the kindness across the knees. Stay long with your legs. One more time, we float it up. This time we rotate the thigh bones internally. Big toes kiss each other. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 12, 11, 10, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we lower back down. So far, so good. We're going to prop ourselves into our baby swan next. So what does that mean? I'm going to take my hands towards the sides of my shoulders, and then I'm just going to allow my head, neck, and chest to open slightly forward as I broaden my collarbones and shoulders. That's it. Very tiny baby swan. And then I'm going to roll back down. 3 of those. Thinking of the nose rolling forward. You're pushing a marble with your nose, and the marble is floating across the room towards the wall in front of you, and then you come back and roll it towards you. Last one. Rolling the marble, looking at it, and then it's going up the wall this time, so you look up a little bit more, and then you come back. So now I feel like I'm ready for a full swan. If that's not in your practice, by all means, skip this section and bear with me for a few more moments. Take a breath in. Exhale, shoulder blades gently glide down. You're pushing and pulling the earth to help you lift up into your swan, and then you melt your spine down. Allow your elbows to fold in towards your body as you invite your front body to rest into gravity. How many? 3 of those as well. So I'm thinking of broad, happy collarbones. The marble rolls forward. It's going up the wall, broad shoulders. Bum is slightly invited. And then I melt down. Last one. Low belly stays lifted. The front of the body gets a lovely stretch here. And my heart rate goes through the roof as I do these. Whew, excellent. All right, what do you think? I know you can't talk to me. I don't know why I always think I'm talking to people. And then from here, you're going to push back into child's pose. However you get there. I'll meet you there in 3 seconds. Ah, that feels so wonderful. 5 full breath cycles in child's pose. And I'm trying to pay attention to time. All right, so now most of you know that I love my planks. So that's where we're headed. How am I going to get up from here? I'm sitting on my feet with my knees bent. I'm going to go back onto my hands and knees. I know you thought that I was going to come up to standing to do a fancy plank. Not today. I'm just going to take the left foot back into plank and then the right foot back into plank. If you're on your forearms, just be kind to yourself. Broad collarbones, low belly is lifted like a gust of wind is pushing it up into the softness of your low back. Heels are perpendicular to the toes, meaning the front of the ankle and the back of the ankle have equal love. Sides of the ankle have equal love. Knees are soft. Heartstrings are lifting up into the middle of your upper back. Head and neck floating above the spine space. I know. 5 more seconds. We've got this. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift your hips up and back into downward dog. Walk your hands to your feet or your feet to your hands. That's it. That's all the plank I have. I know you're surprised. And then roll your way all the way up. Ah, yay, we're finally up to standing. I promise we'll be doing something with the chair, so that's where we're headed. I'm going to take this mat off just so you have a little extra sight process. I might have to take this mat off as well. All right, here we go. Just the chair. Might even make it this way so you have a different view. All right, so we talked about awareness and alignment. Head floating. Let's start from our feet. All corners of our feet are happy. The legs are resting on the heel bones. It's not forward of the heel bones or behind the heel bones. It's directly on top. The knee space is happy. The pelvis is directly on top of the feet. Low belly is lifted. Tail is hanging loose. Ribs are suspended directly over the hips instead of too far forward or too far backward. We're staying right over the hip. Collarbones and shoulder blades are just resting on top of the ribs. Throat happy, broad neck, head and neck floating like a helium balloon. So keep all of that in mind. Without anything changing, eyes have a panoramic vision. We're going to bring the right foot on top of the chair. And the right knee is directly over the right hip. Hands can come behind you. This is a challenging version. Or you can leave your hands right where they were underneath, hanging. So you take a breath in, and all you're going to do is you're going to exhale to step into your front leg. The right bum gets to be invited. The whole circumference of the right thigh bone gets to be invited. As you float your left heel off the ground, and then you lower it back down. All right? You got it now. So let's go for 15 of these. Here's 2. Low belly helps you lift. That right knee does not go past the middle of the foot. The shin slides back to help you lunge. So your body weight's floating between the 2 feet, not just on your back foot, not just on your front foot. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, bear with me, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Pause. Exact same thing, but we add a little hop. Now, if this is not available, skip it. It's never about me. Take a breath in. Exhale, same lunge forward, and we hop. We hop. We hop. Articulate through the foot to hop. 4, 5. How many? however many your body chooses. I'm going for 15 again. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Excellent. Shake it off. Ah, I know. Now you know all of the obsessions I go through to keep my body moving happily during my tennis game. Same start and love for the left side. Left foot goes on the chair, and be mindful that you didn't close off your space and bring the left foot across the body towards the right. Keep the left foot in line with the left hip and the right foot in line with the right hip. That way both halves of the pelvis have equal room and love. All right, here we go. I'm ready now. I'm stepping into my left foot. Left shin bone slides a little and float the right heel. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now we float, jump, or a little hop. That's what you should think about. How buoyant can you be? 7, 8. It's not about the left knee. 10. It's the health of the left knee. It's more about the left bum and thigh bone. 13, 14, 15. Woo! Yeah. All right. So I'm going to use the chair for my last bit of stretching. That's it. Can you believe it? I know you're very surprised. I'm going to sit at the front edge of my chair, take my right ankle across the left knee, and I'm not going to be able to push it further down today. So I'm just going to keep it where it is. Typically, I would be able to take it way down. That's where I am today. So just going to enjoy this right side stretch. And I'm going to hinge forward. Ooh, did that exaggerate my stretch more? Wow. Snow is kind of pretty to look at. Not sure I want to drive in the sleet, but at least it's pretty to watch. And then we come back. Oh yeah, let's go to the left side. I've already hinged. And we come back. I'm going to take my feet a little wider and just forward fold again. Remind myself of where I started. Letting everything hang. Even here, I'm able to speak clearly. My head and neck are in a bobble. They're not collapsed into my chest, nor are they stuck anywhere. I have freedom of my head. And then rolling back up. Yes, one very last one, rotation. We're going to rotate left. Both thigh bones are going away from each other. Right hand lands on the top of on the side of the left thigh bone. I'm looking towards my left hand, or left shoulder, I should say, above my left shoulder. That way my head doesn't drop. And then I come back. My right arm goes behind me. Left hand goes to the side of the right thigh bone. And I'm looking towards my right, above my right shoulder. Excellent. Thank you so much. I hope you guys have a lovely day. And I'll see you soon. Bye now.